Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is a wonderful afternoon on a Friday. Yeah, so I'm so glad to have everyone here, even though we have a few number of people. I think others will be joining us very soon. So this is us talking from Coappt. I'm Ibrahim Temitope Khadijat, the program manager for Coappt. A non-profit, a profit-making company, a tech sector. In fact, to bring those speakers here was not easy because they're always here and there. They are very busy people and one of our great mentors in our great country right now. And they'll be taking us through a very beautiful and insightful section. Mrs. Omolara and Mr. Abiodun, welcome you once again to our section. We'll be glad to hear a lot from you this afternoon. Going forward, so that we can have a peaceful one and enjoy everything from our speakers. And I'll also tell the participants to please be calm and listen to our speakers, write down our questions. There will be a question and answer section. Then I would also encourage our participants to invite more participants. Please, can you help us share the link to your friends? Tell them to join us now. We are live on the Zoom for today's series on USAID funding freeze. Please, can you invite your friends and everyone so that they can benefit from this section? We are waiting for invitations. We are waiting for more participants to join us. So I'll be introducing our panelists. Our panelist for today is Mr. Abiodun Ajayi. I would like to talk about Mr. Abiodun Ajayi. Is the Executive Director of Public Health Sustainable Advocacy Initiative, PSHI, and Mrs. Omolara is our second panelist. Ms. Omolara is our second panelist. I'm so sorry, Ms. Omolara Olusaiye. I would like to talk briefly on Ms. Omolara Olusaiye. Hello, can you hear me? Am I speaking? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right, thank you. So Ms. Omolara Olusaiye is a seasoned international development expert with over 10 years of experience in program management, strategic communications, research and partnership development. Her expertise spans livelihood support for vulnerable groups, social protection and project cycle management. Ms. Omolara is a sociologist by training. Omolara holds a BSc from the University of Ilorin and MSc from the University of Lagos. She currently serves as Head Program Coordination Committee for Lagos Civil Society Participation for Development, LACSOP, and also a board member of Purple Admiral Foundation for Community Development, PAF, an NGO focused on education, health, empowerment, and environmental projects. Can we help me use our clap icon to welcome our two panelists to this great occasion of Coappt? You are welcome, sir and ma. We are so glad to have you here. Please, can you help me use our clapping icon to welcome them? So going forward, I'll be calling on our founder of Coappt. I'll be calling him Mr. Gio Lawal to give us an opening remarks. Please, can you help me use the clapping icon to welcome him? You're welcome, Mr. Gio Lawal. Do we still have you there? Mr. Gio Lawal.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Pardon me, I was trying to just make sure I'm also responding to the call by Khadijat. I know Khadijat, you've not introduced yourself to us. So I'm trying to also like
I
quickly
did
share.
though. I did at the beginning.
Okay. All right. So quickly, I want to say thank you so much to everyone for making.
Hello, Mr. Gio. We can't hear you. Are you there? We can't hear you. Can you hear him? Or is it from my side?
I can't also hear him too, ma.
Okay, let's hold on for him. Maybe he's having network glitch. So as we hold on for Mr. Gio, I would like our participants to just give us few comments on what we understand by USAID fund freeze on funding for Nigeria. Can we please start dropping it in our chat box? Our understanding by USAID funding freeze for non-profits in Nigeria. While we wait for Mr. Gio Lawal, I think he's having a network.
Yeah. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you now, sir.
Okay,
Oh,
welcome, sir. We can hear you now.
okay. So I sincerely apologize. My network just showing itself. So, but let me just move on. So so I said the focus of this session is the current USAID funding freeze, and so we want to be able to dissect this conversation, understand how does it affect people within the social impact space, especially in Africa. How does this actually affect us? So so this is the focus of this series. So like I said, this is the first edition, and I'm sure that by the time we are done today, we should be able to look at what are the adaptive strategies, for African nonprofits, that we can all engage in to sustain, our work. And I'm glad that we have two wonderful panelists who will be doing justice to this for us. As introduced, we have Ambassador Abiodun Ajayi, the Executive Director of Public Health Sustainable Advocates Initiative, and Omolara Olusaiye, the Head of Program, Lagos Civil Society Participation for Development. Okay, and just to build a bit of context, context rather, around the focus of this conversation. The current freeze, on the U.S. foreign aid has significantly disrupted the operations of non-profit organizations across Africa, and notably among these is the health services. How is this going to affect the health services? Now, the suspension of this funding has led, to the closure of clinics providing HIV services, including testing and treatment. In countries like South Africa, this disruption has jeopardized the health of millions of people, who rely on the services provided as a function of these aids. Also, food security. In Ethiopia, for example, now this aid freeze has stranded fast shipment of food, risking spoilage before reaching millions facing hunger. And also, that's also affected how medicine gets to remote clinic, who actually need this to be able to attend to health crisis. Another area is malaria treatment, which is a very prevalent, ailments in Africa, this part of the world. So this fault in the aid also has impeded the delivery of 15.6 million life-saving drug doses, to treat malaria, along with over 48 million doses of seasonal preventive medications. So, and this could actually lead to a surge in malaria cases and fatalities, and fatalities rather. Also, the economic impact. Data modeling suggests that the reduction in the USAID could also push an additional 5.7 million Africans into extreme poverty, in the coming year. Now, highlighting the broader socioeconomic ramification of the funding freeze. So, these are some statistics that I have been able to pull up regarding since January when this funding freeze actually took place. But I'm sure that with our panelists today, they will be able to take us further around this topic and get us to know more about how we, especially the non-profit in Africa, can, how can we begin to look beyond this grant and see and take strategies that can help us further. So in this case, I think I'm going to just say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to a great conversation. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gio Lawal. That was so insightful. That's the young but mighty founder of Coappt Foundation. We are so glad to have you. Your speech was an insightful one. At least it has already laid a background for people to know what our panelist is going to draw more on. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. So moving forward, we are going to be calling on our panelists, Ambassador Abiodun, Ajayi, and Omolara Olusaiye, we'll be asking them few questions pertaining our topic, and they will be responding well. Mr. Abiodun, are you there, sir? Mrs. Olusaiye, are you there? Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, I'm here.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. God
Mr.
bless.
Abiodun, can you please introduce yourself to our participants?
Okay. Oh, well, my name is
My brother,
Abiodun.
I like your cap this afternoon, though.
All right.
Our
Thank you.
ambassador is looking so
It is white for white.
white for white. Yes, welcome,
Yes.
sir.
All right. Good
Yes,
afternoon,
sir.
everyone. My name is Abiodun Ajayi, and I'm privileged to serve as the Executive Director of Public Health Sustainable Advocacy Initiative. We are based in Lagos, and our organization is so much interested in getting government on their toes in delivering the promises or dividend of democracy as far as health and well-being of the people is concerned. And I have been part of this advocacy work for many years, and it is my greatest honor to be part of this conversation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Omolara, can you please introduce yourself to our participants, ma'am?
Okay, thank you. I hope you can hear me as well.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
name is Omolara Olusaiye. Like you have said, I serve as the head of program for Lagos Civil Society participation for development. LACSOP is a network of civil society organization and NGOs, CBOs working across court-cutting role in the sector in Lagos State. I focus on the SDGs, good governance, basically around to ensure that the state will continue to serve as a voice, in advocating for good governance across the multi-sector in the states. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Ma. That was nice. We are glad to have you here, and we are hoping to learn a lot from you today because of your vast knowledge about this non-governmental sector. We are so glad to have you here, and we hope to learn a lot today. So I'll be starting with my questions. I'll be starting with Ms. Omolara. What sectors within the non-profit space are most vulnerable to this funding freeze and why? Ma, what sector within the okay?
Yes, I would
Okay,
say
did
that
you grab my questions as well?
yes, you're asked that what sector, is mostly affected, by the USAID
Yes,
funding.
ma.
Yes. Um, First, I would say that the funding freeze came as a big surprise, as a shockwave, I'm sure, across the African continent, including Nigeria. I know that even our organization, LACSOP, who are also being funded by USAID in the UWASH project in the States. We and other, I think 8 or 10 organizations like that, working in different water, sanitation, and hygiene. And so it came as a shock, across the, the world. We know that USAID itself is one of it's the largest contributor to aid, um, in the world. So, having said that, we know that definitely it's going to be a shock, like I said. But I want to say, I believe that one of the most affected sector, I would say, is the health sector. Like Mr. Lawa has rightly said, this is what has impacted the health sector. We are looking at key findings have shown that you said funding freeze will push, that is data modeling, will push around 5.7 million more Africans into extreme poverty next year. So moving forward, it has also shown that by 2030, the number could rise to about 19 million, which will impact sub-Sahara African economy, further shrinking it to about 4.6 billion in dollar. So I think across, when the book started, it was freeze. That is the 90 days, stop work. But now what we have is it has moved from freeze, I would say, to outright termination. Projects around HIV, AIDS. We have people, non-NGOs, people that come together, some in partnership, and have been providing support for people living with HIV, AIDS, across, like PAFA, to be precise. So most of all this funding have been stopped. It's not even about cutting now. Like I said, from freezing, what we have now is outright termination. Our organization, I think about last week, we got the letter as well, to say, they appreciate us and everything. But at this point, the whole process has to be terminated. So I think the health sector is the most affected because we have people who are in critical situation. We have like family planning issue, MNSCH, maternal mortality issues and nutrition, child nutrition, and all that across Africa. Then when we also look at statistically, we also look at key finding also shows that, let's look at some case study now, like in Ethiopia, for instance, the funding has halted critical health needs, which has left thousands without access to life-saving treatments. Just like Mr. Lawad has rightly said, in South Africa, they have a high percentage of people living with HIV/AIDS. Imagine what that says, what that could mean. Then also in Nigeria, we can't but mention Nigeria. The funding countries has compromised efforts, definitely to combat HIV/AIDS. Over the years, a lot of millions of dollars have gone into the health sector, especially that area. While many organizations now, they are presently struggling on how to maintain, the people, the support they've been giving to people in that space. Nonetheless, we know across the sector, we fund projects, that speaks to good governance, that speaks to education, that speaks to water wash activities, that speaks to aid support directly. Looking at the Northwest now, where we have issue with, the insurgency, bandits. We have people they have been supporting, with stuff for people living in camps, So they provide a lot of support in that aspect, helping young people in those places with skills, education, and all that. So we are now saying that generally all those now are literally coming to an end. So the question is, what is the way forward? So for me, I would say the health sector, all the sector that you mentioned, and others, are being affected. But the health sector, I believe, is the most critical one that is being affected. Looking at other places, South Sudan, looking at places that are currently engaged in mesh with issue that has to do with governance issue with war, all the aids, all the things, critical area, all the support that have been going there have been freezed, have been halted, have been, have been terminated literally. So when you look at that, that is huge, that is critical. So that means they won't get those critical support anymore. So yes,
Okay, Ma, thank you so much. Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. So we still have a lot of questions so that we can make good use of our time, and that is why I had to cut like that. I'm so sorry, Ma. So, Mr. Abiodun, are you there? Mr. Abiodun? Mr. Abiodun?
Hello.
Mr. Abiodun, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, sir. So my question to you, sir, given the challenges posed by the funding freeze, how can non-profits diversify their funding sources beyond grants?
Okay, well, thank you very much for having us on this program today, and I really want to appreciate the fact that we're now thinking towards around conversation, and how can this conversation help us realign our area of strength, or discover our area of strength. And just as some of us to some extent will appreciate the fact that yes, US government is taking that drastic measure. For some, yes, we understand that it's really taking a lot of job from quite a number of Africans or Nigerians. But we must also realize that if measures are not put in place, so our own government might not be thinking towards around dedicating funding for health issue. I can't count how many. Even I met this thing I'm about to say. Even my venture into development work, I met this conversation on while joining the development space, where every time you attend meetings, you hear about government not releasing funds to cater for this particular program, especially around health. You hear about government not prioritizing family planning, not prioritizing malaria.
Hello, Mr. Abiodun.
So I think his
Of time that
network.
our organization FISAI has dedicated so many of our efforts, our programs, our activities in advocating to government funding. And the question is, don't we as a country, don't we have such fund to cater for all of this. We need to go back to the basis. Nigerian USAID or USAID has committed over, let me be specific, more than 800 US dollar, not more than 800 million US dollar to African foreign assistance projects. More than, and this is, even that is just for at least to cut off or freeze funding coming to Africa issues in this country. We have had number of politicians who stole money that is meant for one state, that is a budget of one state. One person is stealing a budget meant for one state. So these are big concerns to CSOs, more importantly. These are big concerns to people who are actually advocating for release of funds. But back to the question, given the challenges posed by the funding freeze, how US government, by US government, and how can we start looking at diversifying the funding beyond grants? Yeah, to be honest with you, we have so many organizations, so many investors that we can also approach locally. But the challenge is, I think trust is also an issue, because we have had numbers of implementing organizations too who will seek for funds from you and still go behind you to embezzle such money. So it is there's a bit of trust issue between those who desire to invest in your project, or perhaps give you some sort of support to implement a project. But the question is, would that money be used for what they requested for? So these are also a big issue. But locally, we should start looking at philanthropists. Another way to diversify now is to look at a philanthropist, come up with a blueprint, approach a philanthropist, a local philanthropist or a regional philanthropist that can be of assistance to your project. More often, I notice that more organizations always want to seek for financial grant outside Africa, because they know that money coming from the Europe are more than the money that they get from the local local space. So they tend to look after UK fund, DFAID, USAID, NED, and so many, forgetting the fact that there are some rich men, rich women in this country that can also support things that we are doing as an organization. So when we engage African philanthropists, it also helps us build their own image and brand. As a matter of fact, every philanthropist that you see support your grant, your project in Africa, it also helps them promote the kind of businesses that they do. Look at Bill Gates today. So in as much as Bill Gates is giving so much money to Africa, it also building its own brand as a company or an investment, or as an investor. So it's a give and take. When I give you something, you also must give me something in return. You may not literally be campaigning for me, but my brand will be on the project that you are implementing. So CSO organizations need to start looking towards that direction, the direction of, okay, give us this 10 billion naira. We will also help you project things that you do. So if you are not giving back to them, they may literally not want to support what you're doing, because nothing in return is also coming to them. So, and then we also need to look at diaspora funding beyond organizations, beyond Europeans, coming to fund us here. We have some Nigerians who are really, really doing well outside the country that we can also approach. I remember last year, a friend of mine who is in Brazil reached out to me and he said, Abiodun, I have this particular money and I have friends that we can pull funds from them. We want to do humanitarian projects in Nigeria. Okay, can you please take this money, help us do a visibility study on what the people of Nigeria need? And he gave us a location. He said, please go to my local government, go to this area, help me find out what is their needs. And we are ready to pool resources to get them those needs. And I did that. We did a documentary where we have them detail some of the stories of those people. Some will come on air and say, I have 4 wives. I have 5 children. I just got fired from where I work. and I don't have anything to sustain my family. Please, we need to, and I will show their family. And lo and behold, these people went ahead and they started having this, the meeting started, getting expanding. We started expanding. They started bringing other white people
Mr.
from,
Abiodun,
abroad. Hello?
please, sir, can you switch on your video?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
thank
can you
you,
see
sir.
me?
Yes,
Can
we
you see
can
me
see
now?
you now.
Okay. So they now put those resources together. We had series of meetings. So what am I trying to say is this? People in the diaspora can also be of help to what we are doing in Nigeria. They have friends who believes in them. They have friends who trust in them. So when all of these resources funding are crowdfunded among friends, family members, colleagues at work, they can then give it back to us. But the question is, when funds are released to you, do you also give back reports? It's another big issue. More often when people get funds from an unorganized platform from outside Africa, they tend not to give back report or give stewardship of those services that they render. Why? Because they felt they didn't give for a fact they didn't even ask them to submit any report. That means you just collect
The
their money.
recording
It is
has
unaccounted
stopped.
for money. So it is very important that we also need to start taking responsibility. And also, too, we also have religious and community-based giving. In abroad, if a sister of mine told me something in January, she said they give Nigerians money almost every month. She's based in the US. She was one of those people who
This
initiated this
meeting is
process
being
migration in Nigeria
recorded.
before she went back to America. So she said every month they give a particular money to Nigerians through religious and community-based giving. So we need to also start looking at this area, and those money are there even beyond USAID. So all of us are looking towards USAID because we know that USAID fund is so enormous. So we need to start looking at that. Another area that we can also diversify is to start approaching corporate organizations. They have corporate social responsibility, fund in their own organization. When you don't approach them, they may tend not to release those money to you and then go on their own to implement it by themselves. So we need to start looking at how do we align. So for every CSR, every organization has their own focus area. So if you want to empower women in business and their focus is on men in business, they may tend not to fund you. So you must actually align with what the objective of that that intervention that they want to carry out. And it also happens even outside that too. Even if you are writing USAID, you can't just say you can't just write USAID or USAID and tell them you want to implement this project and they should give you this money. No, they also have priority. You must align your priority with their priority if you want them to release money for your project. So we also need to look at, and then lastly
Okay.
too, we also need to start looking at crowdfunding beyond diaspora crowdfunding within us here. Do we have friends? Can we approach the rich guys in Nigeria that can put 55 million naira, 10 million naira together? All of this essence is not for our own use. It is for the development of our community, of our country. So if you are going with a blueprint, an actionable result-oriented blueprint, I bet you they can also get involved in an intervention that you are also planning to carry out. And also, lastly, we also need to engage the government as an organization. Let us leave the shores of just implementing alone. Can we also see ourselves as an advocate speaking for the people? It is not wrong if you organize a press conference calling a particular state government or governor or the federal government to order to say, see, this is what is at stake, and we need to ensure that we stand on our toes to do this. Thank God, aftermath of the freeze USAID funding to Africa, the federal government declared a particular billions of naira to address the HIV intervention. Because the apps, just like the report given by Ms. Omolara and Jew, look at what is happening in Ethiopia now. Look at what is happening in Sudan, in other countries, because of the absence of USAID funding. The problem that we felt we're already getting out from is now coming back again. You saw what happened in Anambra, where a man forcefully went to, an HIV guy went to sleep with a 7-month-old, a woman who was carrying a 7-month-old baby, and she infected the baby and the mother immediately. So these are issues. So it is absence of this fund that is really, really causing a lot of havoc. But guess what? The government must stand on their toes
Okay,
to
Mr.
fill in that
Abiodun,
gap.
thank you so much. We still have a lot of questions to ask you. So
Thank you.
I know it will give you much time. You will keep on going on and going on and going on. Thank you so much, sir. So
Thank
Mr.
you.
Abiodun said other alternative instead of USA funding, diaspora funding, government funding, crowdfunding, religious and community-based funding. Thank you so much, sir. So Miss Omolara, please, sirs and ma'ams, let's be brief with our explanation so that we'll be able to attend to all questions and our audience can also ask questions from us. So this question goes to Mrs. Omolara. Are you there, ma?
Yes, please.
Miss
Yes.
Omolara, please,
Yes.
ma, can you put on your video too?
Okay.
Okay, so this question goes to you. How can non-profits become more financially resilient to avoid over-reliance on foreign aid? How can
Yes.
non-profits become more financially resilient to avoid over-reliance on foreign aid? Thank you, ma. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, please, a minute. I don't know. Can you see me?
Yes, ma.
Yeah. So I thank you very much for that. I think the first thing is that with what is happening, with the issue of USAID, the freeze and the subsequent impacts that is just beginning, or that is, ongoing now. People should start, non-profits across Africa should start looking at, firstly, their strategic plan. What I mean by that, most non-profits, one of the things that they really highlight in their strategic planning is most of their plans are donor driven. What they have written, every segment are donor driven. So it's time for non-profit leaders, non-profit organizations to start looking beyond donor, start looking at other ways that they can, that they can survive it. And one of the quick ways is to start looking at other options like enterprise development, cutting, working smartly. That is in terms of administration now. Now most non-profit organizations to start looking at, cutting, instead of outright dismissal of staff. Most staff, some can start working from home. Probably instead of coming to work 5 times a week, they can start doing maybe twice a week. Most of the work can be done globally. Now we have remote work, so people can even work from home. I remember in my early days, I started my career as a media personnel, as a journalist some years ago. And I remember most Mondays we do come to the office. It was not even remote, it was not even that popular. We do Mondays meeting, we do meetings. And then after that, we do other things from home. It's only when we have like something to report that we do come to the office. So non-profit organization across Africa can start to look at that option. Most of their staff, instead of outright laying staff off, they can start working from home. Then there are some aspects that of their work that will collapse. For instance, I know some non-profit organizations that have what will I call? Some have program manager, right? They have assistant program manager. Some even have deputy program manager. Then they have volunteers. So that's why I started with the word strategic planning. for the organization. So they need to start to collapse some of the roles so that will also cut costs. Then we are also looking at some of the other things that they can go into. So most organizations can do consulting as well, provide some consulting support that can bring income to support most of the work that they do. Like my brother has said, Mr. Abiodun, most of the work we do are, some of them are community driven and people facets. So some of the things they can go back to the community and also ask how they can better. Now, fine, you come to talk to them and say, the people that are supporting, they are no more here. How can we keep this work going? Like us in LACSOP and like some organizations that I know that I also consult for, there is this, like now with the USAID freezing, there is this ongoing, you'll be surprised, like you said, they are within the community. Some of them start to identify philanthropists, people who are ready to give their time, who are ready to give their technicality to support the ongoing community work. So that's another measure that non-profits can, survive this period. Then also partnership, coming together, people that share, identify people that share similar mission and vision with the organization, coming together, pulling resources together to, for instance, International Women Day. I know a lot of organizations that have come together in 4, in 5, somebody is bringing the staff, somebody is bringing the banner, somebody is bringing the refreshment, somebody is bringing the media. Yeah. So those are some of the ways that.
So I want to tell our participants to please share the link that we are still live so that we can have more people to enjoy what we are enjoying now. If you are enjoying this section, please can you signify? You can unmute and say hi for 2 seconds, please. If you're enjoying this section, say yeah, yeah. Can we unmute ourselves and say yeah, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can mute ourselves back. We can mute our mic so that we can continue. So our next question will be going to Mr. Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun, are you still there?
Yes, I'm with you there.
Okay, sir. So our next question is going to you. How can non-profits better engage with local donors, philanthropists, and impact investors to sustain their work? Do you get me, Mr. Abiodun?
Yes, I get your question. So I think I responded to that question in my previous conversation or submission. Honestly speaking, we just need to, we need to build this trust with this local donors. And then we also need to tap into some of the potentials that we see around us. We shouldn't look down on any local donors or investors. They're also looking for impact that they also want to make. They tend to take their fund back into their own investment purse. And oftentimes too, when we also try to share our stories, most of the times Africans don't share their stories, especially when it has to do with an impact that was made by an African for Africans. So when we also share our stories, when we also share our success stories, and we're able to, come up with actionable, measures to address those challenges, I think they'll be ready to partner and then support us with funds. So I think one of the ways to do that is to identify them. Just do, there's what we call resource mobilization. You set up teams that could also help you identify those investors that are ready to fund or to support an initiative, and then develop a proposal around it, present it to them, let them see the essence of why they need to also support such initiative. But more importantly, too, to sustain that partnership, we must first build trust. Secondly, ensure that they are not supporting you with that fund in vain. They are also getting share of the fund they are giving. What do I mean by share? what are you giving back to that organization? How are you promoting the ideal of their own service to the populace? And then I think with that, we'll be able to sustain our local projects. So that's my response to that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun. Ms. Omolara, are you there, ma?
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Omolara, how can organization build stronger cross-sector collaborations? Collaborations in terms of private sector, government, international bodies to mitigate the negative effects of reduced foreign aid.
Yes, thank you very much. I think just like we have said, I think the first thing is, like the private sector, is to collaborate with them, especially those that share in what we are doing. There are thousands of private, despite the economic down role in the country currently. Economics all over the world, the economy all over the world, but there are still organizations that are ready to partner with non-profit organizations, who they believe they have shared value. So the first thing is to identify the organization that that have shared value with the NGO, then be ready with be intentional with what the organization then has to be intentional with what they want, and to go for it. And one of the things that my brother have said, Mr. Abiodun, is the CROS. I recall the organization Purple Admirer that I serve on the board. We have this educational program that we run every year. And so this year there were no much fund. Most times, which is also very important. It's very good to have a good board a supportive board that can support some of the activities that the organization runs. So we identify one of the prominent bank in the country that one of their CRS focus is educationally inclined. So we partner with them. And not only us, later I saw online quite a number of NGOs working in the educational space as well, across the state. They supported organizations in Lagos, in Benin to be specific, and in the northeast as well. So there are many organizations, bank institutions, foundations that support some of the work that NGO does. So it's very important that non-profits should now go all out to identify such organizations that they can partner with. Then in terms of government, for instance, I would like to use Lagos State as a case study. I know that there are many agency and MDAs in Lagos State that supports the work that non-profit does. If you have something that is genuinely community, that is beneficial to the community, and you also have something to bring, in terms of, okay, this is what we want to do, and this is what we have, and this is how you can come in. So I'm very sure, our own organization, LACSOP, and its member, we have a lot of our members, even LACSOP as a body, have collaborated with most of the MDAs in Lagos State to, carry out developmental projects and programs. So I know quite a number of in the state as well that have also benefited in that space. Then also in terms of cross-cutting collaboration as well. One of the key points of the SDG is SDG 17. We talked about partnership for the goals. Like I've said earlier, right now it's very important for non-profits that have shared value to come together to start. The era of one organization having the belief that, oh, I can do it all, might just be going out of fashion. it's very important that non-profits, start to come together, especially those that share the same value. It starts working together to execute projects. I think this is one of the ways, that quick wins can easily be felt, in the sector, and also to reduce the impact of the USAID freeze. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was so insightful, and I think we learned a lot. I believe my audience are writing down their questions now, because we'll soon get to the open questions and answer section. So we'll continue with our questions to our panelists while our participants write their questions down. Write your various questions down. Mr. Abiodun, are you there, sir?
I am here.
Okay, your last question. How can technology, crowdfunding platform, blockchain for transparency, AI-driven donor engagement help non-profits attract alternative funding? Did you get me, sir?
Okay. How can
Yes, sir.
technology, crowdfunding platforms, blockchain for transparency, AI-driven donor engagement help non-profits attract alternative funding? Yes, it does help. Technology offers non-profit innovative ways, and we have diverse of them, which can also help them attract alternative funding. And more often, this also help improve trust and ensure transparency. So if all of these platforms are there, and then you are not also engaging in being transparent or having trust, so you may not really have access. It may not become an alternative funding for you. And one of the technology, or let me say crowdfunding platform that I've ever seen and I've known that I have been giving support fund to initiatives, or let me say organizations. We have GoFundMe, we have Global Giving, we also have Donate-NG. So these are technology platform that also helps initiatives get support fund towards their project. I remember 3 years ago, I was implementing a community outreach project, which has this humanitarian component. We just go to community, we give empowerment to women and men. We give clothes, we give food, we give money. So we're only engaging just humanitarian service, and we shared one of our activity in 2013 or 2023 on platform, and GAIG saw it and they mailed us, okay, can we send our report on this particular project to their mail? And we did. And furthermore, they reached out to us and they said they want us to also engage in global contests. So what that means is that they are bringing all initiatives together across the globe, different innovation, from health to humanitarian to education to anything that you are doing that has to do with social intervention. So we came together all over the world, and it was a contest. And our organization came second, and they gave us $1,000. So these are some of the another alternative that organization can start looking towards, instead of limiting their funding to their grants to USAID. You never can tell. UKAID can also stop tomorrow. So we need to plan for the future. And in order to plan for the future, you must start creating sustainable alternative for yourself, which is one of those things that I mentioned. Also, peer-to-peer fundraising. You can encourage supporters to also come to you and donate to you. These are also crowdfunding platforms. So it doesn't really mean that all of you are based in the same geographical location, or you reside in the same geographical location. I might be in Brazil, you might be in Scotland, somebody else might be in Finland. We can come together and then set up a peer-to-peer fundraising platform. And then what we do basically is we support. Don't let me say contribution, because in Nigeria we've abused that contribution. Be a Joe. No. just come and commit a particular amount to this intervention every month. Okay, I'll be giving 10,000 euros to this particular project every month. So it's a way of, is another alternative, funding that can also help your, innovation. Blockchain for transparency and trust. You can also start smart contract for funding accountability. Fund can be released automatically when specific donations, e.g., maybe project milestones. You just come up with, when you are done with a particular project and somebody sees it and says, okay, I want to, partake in this particular project, and then they engage in giving you another support. So, this has to do with maybe crypto seed donation. Maybe somebody is into crypto, and then as you implement a project, they fund you. They may have your project document with them, and then maybe as you implement a particular activity, they fund you, and then you move into another activity, they fund you. So it's another way of also easing, our funding measures to, respond to some of the innovations that we are coming up with. So what about the area of AI-driven donor engagement and personalization? So AI chatbots for donor engagement. Automated bots can answer donor queries. So most likely you don't need to be there. You can set, now when we have meetings, it was my chairman who first introduced that to us during our, maybe team bonding meeting. So we hold the meeting, and then we don't need a secretary any longer. An AI helps us generate our minutes. So when we meet, when we are done with the meeting, we extract that report, and then when we are having, we can now build on it. And when we're having our next meeting, that AI generated minutes can be read to every team member. So you can also set up an AI driven donor engagement where the AI innovation help you interrogate or talk with your, discuss with your funder. Just arrived on Arise TV this morning. There was an innovation that they also this guy projected. Ojayi, he projected on Arise TV today, where an AI also start talking. You can ask an AI something, and it will give you a voice response to your question. So we can also, as a CSO, we can also start looking towards that direction. So we have diverse ways that we can also use. There's diverse technology ways that we can also use or adopt to also help us in addressing alternative, funding for our project. As an organization too, or as an individual, you can sit down and think about what other areas. It might not be restricted to some of the things myself and Ms. Omolara is also sharing here. You can also think about what other innovation that we can bring on board. You can develop games. You can develop, as an organization, you can develop an app, maybe an app that that is also that has financial implication, in the sense that develop an app to also help people solve problems. So when they access it, they can donate something into that particular app. Maybe is it like a charity, like what Save the Children do sometimes. When you access their page, there is a page where they have donation. So you can put a donation as part of your website, where people that visit it can also contribute 1 naira, 2 naira to it. And I think that is also what as FISAI, we're also looking into, towards that direction, adding donation to our website component, so that when an international donor, an individual or a philanthropist visit our site, they can then donate. We have had this a long time ago. It is not a new innovation, but it is something that every organization that seek for funds to implement projects can literally adopt. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun and Mrs. Omolara. We are so glad to have you here this evening. Your explanations were concise, and they were very, very, they were easy to understand, and it was insightful. In fact, I've learned a lot today. I know other members of the conference also, they got to take 1 or 2, 3, 4 things home today, and we've learned, especially those that are in the non-governmental sector, they've learned a lot, and they have different take homes from all you've answered. We are so grateful. Can our audience say thank you to our panelists? We can all unmute and say thank you. We can also use our clapping icon to say thank you to them. Hello, are you out there?
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, people are dropping clapping icons.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are now going to move to the question and answer section. Are you still there, our panelists? So if you have questions, can you please raise up your hand and then we commit you. Hello, if you have questions from the audience, can you please raise up your hand and we'll omit you, or you drop it inside the chat box. We'll be reading it out to our panelists. Thank you. You can drop the question into the chat box. You can also raise up your hand and unmute yourself to ask from our panelists. They'll be answering you. Let's start within 5 minutes. Thank you. We're about rounding up. Okay, Ademabo hand is up. Can we please unmute him? Okay, you can speak now. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
thank you so much, and I hope that you guys can hear me. Actually, it's morning where I am. Thank you for the opportunity and for an insightful conversations around funding for NGOs. My name is Ademabo. I run a foundation called the Rolling Mabo Foundation. We have been in existence for the last 5 years, and we have multiple projects that were run around the Niger Delta creeks of Delta states in Nigeria. In fact, we are the only humanitarian organization that is giving free healthcare, free pharmacy, free hospital, nurses, doctors for multiple communities around that region. And we've self-funded it. At least over ₦1 billion we spent in that region in the last 5 years, all self-funded. We have not collected a dollar from grants from government or NGOs or funders or grants or anything. I think the core belief that we originally had was, if God blesses you, why can't you give 10, 20% away to someone? Oh, okay. If God blesses you, why can't you give 50% away? However, the more that we dive into the problems that we face, the more that we know that the problem is plenty. Unfortunately, the region that we work in produced 33% of the oil in Nigeria. The combined region produced about 49% of the entire oil in Nigeria, meaning they are the bedrock of Nigerian wealth. Yet they are the most poverty you can ever see. The most poverty that you can ever see. No water, no electricity, no healthcare center, no almost nothing other than the rich oil regions, company yards that exist into that. One of the reasons why I joined this is because the problems gets bigger, and we were looking for creative ways to ensure that we can have more people participate in doing something genuinely to make the lives of other people better. And it was very, very important that we were able, I was able to see and hear a lot of options that are available from the Nigerian market. I am not a big advocate of collecting foreign funds. I believe that Nigeria has enough wealth, Nigerians in the diaspora has enough wealth. Nigerians or Nigerian organizations, Nigerian philanthropists have enough funds to be able to take care of the problems that we have. So my question, although it has been partly answered, how do we get more people to genuinely be involved in projects in Nigeria, pro-Nigerian projects in Nigeria, genuinely, without having to face this whole option of trust issues? That's my question. And I'm directing it to Mr. Ajayi. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mabo. Mr. Ajayi, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. I feel so very impressed by the introduction made by Mr. Ademabo. You know, it is very hard to see people doing that kind of project, and I must also agree with him. I've never seen an organization that will provide that kind of services, or a foundation providing such services, all inclusive, for free, all inclusive. You know, at times some will come and they will not have the all inclusive package. You understand? So I want to say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Ademabo. Thank you so very much for doing that for the people of Delta State. Even on a project that we were in last year, we had the same scenario in Akwa Ibom. There's a community in Akwa Ibom that also provide something that all of us in Nigeria are enjoying, and those people do not have good water. They don't have good services. They don't have presence of the government. And these are in some of these locations in the South region. But going by the question, how can we start, tapping into the wealth of Nigerians? To be honest with you, you just answered it in the last statement that you made. Trust is the issue. If the trust is there, sustainability is sure. If I am giving you 10 naira and you are doing more than okay, don't even do more than enough. Do what you tell me you will do with that 10 naira. I am okay. Don't do more. Don't do more. Leave more. Don't exaggerate. Don't exaggerate. If I'm giving you 20 naira and you told me that in the project book that you are giving me, you are going to do so with 20 naira, please go and do it. Don't do so. So it is the feedback mechanism that is making me and Mr. Mabo and series of others, even Geo, not trust any Nigerian organization. So many of them have used the money to enrich themselves. I can tell you again, at some point in time, somebody will say we should not expose ourselves. There is no need, we won't expose ourselves. Well, we'll continue to speak the truth. We have so many organizations who have used European money to enrich their pocket, to buy themselves car, to enrich their own immediate family. And these money are meant to be used for the people that you said you want to reach out to. A few years ago, a guy nearly cost our own name in Lagos State. He wrote a proposal from Edo State that he was going to implement a project in Borno. Borno was used to bandits and Boko Haram attacks. So he developed a proposal, an intervention, and I'm a member of that organization at the national level. I'm a member of the National Executive Committee of that organization. He wrote them and they gave him money, more than 50 million naira. Could you believe that this guy did not step his leg to Borno State? One. Two, he did not send anybody to represent him and implement that project. But I have not been to Sokoto, but I have implemented more than 2 projects in Sokoto. I have never been there. I sent money, go and do it with evidence. And this guy was caught by this organization, and they discovered that he was only spending that money by himself, to himself alone, and he was arrested. So what am I saying is how we can sustain that is by ensuring that if you are given as an NGO, you are given 10 naira, please do this and do that. When I started my community outreach project, it was a personal donation, and I was also seeking from friends, give me 10 naira, don't worry, give me 20 naira. Immediately we are done with each activity. Because I have a group of anybody who is contributing to that project. I will share the report. We just met with the Commissioner for Women Affairs, and she has promised this. I will send the report. And when we are done with the entire project, we'll come up with a robust report and we'll share with those people who have given us 1 naira. Whoever gives us 1 kobo deserves a report from us. So I think it is a trust issue that we must continually build and stay by what you say you want to do. If USAID give you 20 naira, that you want to go and build a bore water, build that bore water. And if you don't want to build that bore water in that community, you need to let them know. Either they will collect their money or ask you to go and do it in another location. So that is that. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Abiodun.
you, Mr. Abiodun. Thank you so much, sir. You really answered the question well, and I hope Mr. Ademabo is okay with your answer. Mr. Gio Lawal, I can see your hands up. Do you have any question for the panelists?
Okay.
Mr. Gio Lawal.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. But thank you so much. Thank you, Khadijat. And I must say a big thank you to our panelists so far. Thank you for making this session a very engaging and quite interesting one. Yes, you've said a lot, and you've really made very valid points. Yeah, by the way, before I forget, let me also appreciate Mr. Ademabo, who spoke earlier, who asked the question. Mr. Ademabo, I got to meet Mr. Ademabo recently, and he was one of our guest speakers, one of a panelist at the last Social Impact Tech Summit that we had in January. I think it's a great honor to really have you join us here once again, sir. Thank you so much. So I think I just want to point, or let me say, add to some of the things that has been said, by our panelists, and also address the question raised by Mr. Demabo. So, by the way, Mr. Abiodun already answered the question. I must say he has given a very clear answer to that. But just in addition, I want to say that I think a lot of times we look too far. There's an adage in Yoruba. I'm just going to translate it in English that says what you're looking for in Sokoto is just in your Shokoto, and your Shokoto is just your pocket. So at times we look too far. We look too far when what we need are just around us. And I give a very typical example. Last year, so Coappt embarked on a project which the focus of that project is to train students in universities and institutions in Lagos on artificial intelligence. Now, when we conceptualize this project, yes, it looks big, but we decided to run it with a very, very minimal project, a very minimum budget. And interestingly, I will tell you what we achieved even before I tell you the amount that was spent on that project. And I want you to follow me. We were able to reach over 3,400 students in Lagos. We were able to go to five universities in Lagos: Unilag, Yabatech, Lagos State University of Technology in Ikorodu, Lagos State University, in Ojo, and Lagos State University of Education. Yes, also around that Ojo towards Badagry. These 5 universities. Now we're able to train 600 students in total, and we had a 3-day boot camp where we were able to train 40 students for a 3-day boot camp. And trust me, if you ask me how much did we spend in total to actually achieve these results, and this was the first time we spent less than 500,000 naira. Now it might sound, oh, okay, but one thing I've come to realize is that there's much that can be done with little. Yes, it's just a matter of our intentionality. It's not until you get $1,000, $5,000, and we don't want to measure the level of our success by the amount of money we are getting, which is really not, because I think a lot of non-profits are no longer focusing on the result in itself. But not to speak more about what we are not doing right. I think what I just want to try and focus more is what we probably need to do more. And I think it's high time a lot of non-profits in Africa, Nigeria and the other part of Africa began to look at how do we began to look at the concept of social enterprise. There are a lot of things we can do as organizations. Nothing stops you to organize some things, and see how people pay for it. In fact, I would like to always tell people now, even when people approach me that I want to start an NGO, I tell them, don't go and register as a competent trustee. Do not. If you do not have a strong backing already, maybe a corporate organization that's going to back you up. If you don't have like maybe one company that is saying, oh, we are setting up a foundation that we already have the resources to get this done, start just go and register as incorporated by guarantee, which permits you, and I think these are some of the things we need to start enlightening ourselves on, which permits you to be able to carry out some commercial activities. Yes, you can have a space you're using to rent out, to get office. In fact, there's an organization we recently used their office space, their hall. It's an NGO, it's a non-profit, but they have this all they use to rent out to other organizations. You go there, you pay, they have everything, you pay to use it. This money comes to them. Imagine in a month having, I think then maybe 3 years ago, we paid 50K. Imagine having 10 organizations in a month coming to have their program in your space. That's 500,000 naira every month. And you don't need to go employ the whole world. At times, we also need to be able to employ people that we can pay. People who can actually run this thing. Imagine if your expenses are minimal, you have something that is sustainable every month that comes in, you're good to go. Those vision, those ideas, you can run them. But everybody wants to keep looking for the $5 million, $5,000. There's nothing wrong in that. But I think the USAID funding freeze or funding stoppage as it is getting to right now is really showing us a lot of lesson. And yeah, I think I won't be fair to what we do if I don't then touch on the fact that tech is there for us. I'm sure we get to talk more about this later on. Thank you so much. I'm just going to stop here.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Do we have any other questions? Do we have any other person that has questions? Okay. In the absence of any question, it shows that we've all learned a lot and we all understood everything that was said by our speaker. So we would like to appreciate our speaker. We would like to appreciate our panelists. Thank you so much for your time. We are so grateful. Thank you, sir and ma. So I would like to call on Mr. Samuel, co-founder of Coappt, to please talk to the audience about Coappt. Thank you. Mr. Samuel, are you there? Mr. Samuel? Mr. Samuel?
So I think Samuel is not here. So and I'm just going to speak on that because of time. By the way, let me also appreciate our panelists, Mr. Abiodun and Madam Omolara. Thank you so much for the time and for the insights you've actually shared with us at the course of this conversation. I think they are really going to help a lot of us, begin to look beyond the conventional ways of writing proposals and everything, and seeking for grants here and there. Yeah, and permit me to also add that, you see, there are some small grants that are available out there that we can explore. Yes, some 500, some 1,000. I think at times we are overly ambitious. At times we want to change the whole world at a time. If you can't change a little community of 500, how then do you want to have lessons to learn to know how to change a community of 1,000 before you then start talking about changing a community of 1 million? So, but that aside, so quickly, I'm just going to, as we wrap up, share with us what we do at Coappt. So, but before I go into what we do at Coappt, I must say that this is a monthly series, and it's going to be happening every month. And in fact, initially, the focus of this series, which we call the Social Impact Digital Empowerment for Effective Productivity, SIDIP, is focused on bringing up tech topics and enlightening social impact organizations, professionals, and enthusiasts about how they can leverage technology to advance the work they do. So for us at Coappt, we are focused major. So we are a tech and digital media company, but we are focused majorly around the social impact space. Yes, we are into tech, we are into digital media, but our work is majorly around the social impact space. Yes, we know we have fintech, agrotech, edutech, and all sorts of techs, but we are focused majorly with people who are working to change the society, the non-profits, the profits, those who are social impact inclined, who has corporate social responsibility, part of what they are doing, and whose work is has elements of impact driving them. So those are the people we actually work with. And what do we do? Yes, we provide them with tech services, like I mentioned earlier, web design, software development, trainings. We handle what other things? Yes, we also help organizations in terms of crafting digital inclusion policies for organizations. Yes, we do IT consultancy. We provide technical support for organizations. This is majorly what we do. Then we also do the digital media aspect of helping you to undo your cinematography, live streaming like this. We create content and other things, branding. So that is we do at Coappt. So we majorly help you to organize the life cycle of your program or your project. So we are the go-to organization to help you on that. But let me quickly stress on the fact that this conversation is not ending right now. It's not ending here. In the month of April, we are organizing a full month training, a 4-month training on how to, a 4-month training on how to leverage technology to raise, what's it called, sustainable funding by organizations. Now we are looking beyond grants. We are looking beyond writing proposals and seeking for these grants, that grants, USAID, UKAID. Now, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in doing that. I must say, there's nothing wrong. It helps a lot, but we are looking beyond grants. How can we tell our stories very well online that can help us attract, people? How can we start building the culture of citizens also, contributing? Like I think Mr. Abiodun mentioned, if it's 1,000 naira monthly, 500 naira, 5,000, whatever amount, the culture where people can also contribute to the work we do. And there's a lot that is involved in that. There's a lot we need to do in doing that. People won't give you their money if they don't trust you. It's very important. How do we build that trust that people can give you the money, So because we don't really have that culture in this part of the world, we forget that the likes of USAID, UK, Netherlands, Canada, and those international organizations, it is their taxpayers' money that they are giving to us. It is their people's money. So when, like Mr. Bedu, I love the way Mr. Bedu keeps emphasizing the fact that some people they've not been faithful with this money. So, and we can't blame them. It's their money. If they decide to withhold their money, who are we to complain? We can't complain. So, how then do we build our own culture where our own people can start, being able to fund us, corporate organizations, public organizations, private individuals, and the rest of them can be able to fund us. So this is the focus. But for us to get to that level, technologies around us, AI, blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, social media, they're all around us. How do we leverage them to be able to then raise, the kind of fund that we can be self-sustaining? So this is what we'll be doing with what we call Beyond Grant Masterclass, leveraging technology to raise financial sustainability. So please join us. I just dropped the link. There's a link on the group on the chat right now that you can click on. It's going to take you to a WhatsApp group where you will be able to join, and we'll be sharing more details with you there. By the way, we'll be unveiling our speakers, our facilitators. We have great lineup of speakers across the world that will be teaching us. This is not a conversation. It's actually teaching. They will be training us, and it's going to take 36 hours. Meaning we'll be having 3 hours per session, and it's going to happen 3 times in a week. So meaning in a week, we're going to be spending 12 hours. Yes, 3 hours per session. And we're having, I think, 3 sessions, yes, in a week. And this is going to happen every week for the month of April. Trust me, we have great speakers. In fact, as yesterday, we just got a speaker who used to work with the cables. In fact, he's a known name from the cable. He's an award-winning journalist. He's going to be joining us. We have, let me let the cat out of the bag. We'll be unveiling them in the group. You can join the group. I just shared the group, the link to that group is a WhatsApp group. I just shared it in the chat box right now. Just join us, and I'm sure we can all move out of this funding crisis that a lot of organizations are into right now. So let me call Mr. Sam, I think, to then do the honor of the closing remark. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Sam, I think you have the floor. Sam, I don't know if you're here. If you're here, you can please just close the session for us.
All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. This discussion this afternoon. Let me confirm that you're hearing me. So I want to believe that you're hearing me. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yes,
I want to appreciate everyone who joined the discussion.
Okay, so I don't know if it's just me.
So
okay.
The panel. All right. I don't know. I'm really having
Yeah, you can go on, Sam. I think your network is not stable. You're frozen
I'm a
right
very
now.
bad
So
network at my end, but I want you to chat.
yeah, please go on. Please, I think I can hear you now. I think it's stable now.
It's nice to have you actually bring do justice to this conversation and bring enlightenment to everyone about the future regarding grants and also funding for social impact work and contributed to the conversation. To the moderator, thank you very much. It's wonderful seeing how you're able to coordinate the conversation. I want to appreciate all the team members from Coappt. Thank you very much. All other, we look forward to having you part of our future engagements as coming in the month of April. We want to see you and we also appreciate you communicate this to your networks. We look till we meet again.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. I'm sure we are still able to get
Thank you very
somewhere.
much and
But just
continue the impact work you're doing.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sammy. Thank you, everyone. Please don't forget you can follow us on all our social media platforms at Coappt, spelled COAPPT. You can follow us at Coappt on all social media platforms. And yes, next week Friday around this time we'll be having a wonderful woman. And so we have a podcast we called Coappt Impact Corner. We're having this woman, that's Madam Ngozi Juba. That's the project coordinator, program coordinator at Vision Spring Initiative. Be joining us next week Friday at our Coappt Impact Corner. Please make it a date with us. You can